Good afternoon and welcome to this session. We'll talk about CICD, GitOps and JenkinsX. We are David and my name is Mark. We do the presentation together because we will do our real deployment. We hope that the demo will work fine. We will function in high availability. Well, let's start. First, the first part of the presentation will be more theoretical or more theoretical, and quickly we will start with the demo because it's the time after lunch and it's not a good time to read things and to do more theoretical things because well, it would be complicated. Let's say. Well, first of all, a small presentation about us. We are Gecko Cloud. We are a small startup company based in Barcelona. We are focused in internet companies. We help them with cloud management, automation tools. We accompany the companies to migrate to the cloud. We also do DataOps, CICD. We also are specialists in container platform, especially with Kubernetes, and well, a lot of things more. I will not get bore you because well, let's start with things. What is GitOps? Who don't know what is GitOps? What is GitOps? So, who of you never heard about GitOps before? All of you know what is GitOps? Good. GitOps is we will resume GitOps in one slide. GitOps is a method used for continuous deployment. The principal characteristic of GitOps is GitOps use Git as a single source of truth. All the things we do, all the things we manage, all the things we create, all the things we destroy is in a Git repository, Git or whatever. It's in a source code repository. This accelerates and simplifies the application deployments of the operational tasks because all the changes are traceable, verifiable, and reproducible. In fact, we are talking about infrastructure as code. Why GitOps? Well, with GitOps we have a fast development. GitOps manages all the updates, new features, continuously pushing new features to production, responding quickly to business and customer needs. This is our process, our company wants to do, and well, also is better for operations. GitOps completes the CICD pipeline. Not only uses we do pull requests to pull requests. Not only we do pull requests for applications for code, but also for infrastructure. And we have more control, more security. We know who has made the change, when this change is made. And we have a source, an immutable and auditable source of truth, but it's Git. In that way, we can recover totally or partially part of our infrastructure with only with a button. Something was happened. For example, a hacker has entered in our infrastructure, and well, we will redeploy all the servers, pushing a little, and all the magic happens. We can use GitOps with a lot of tools. Kubernetes, Ansible, Puppet, Spinner, Terraform, information, blah, blah, blah. The fact is to have all our infrastructure as a code. In this case, we will center our presentation in Kubernetes. Well, do you know Kubernetes? Kubernetes represents a change of paradigm in doing things. When you implement Kubernetes, you have to learn a new way to do the things, set up Kubernetes, set up cloud. Well, Kubernetes is not so much complicated. It's not like launching a rocket to the moon, but well, Kubernetes has these small things that makes things a little bit tricky. We have to learn to deploy containers into Kubernetes. We have to change all existing pipelines or create new pipelines to do the continuous delivery in Kubernetes, automate everything, to improve the reliability, observability, blah, blah, blah. And the more important, giving value to our customers. We can say to our boss, hey, wait, I will learn how to work Kubernetes and stop all the things because I'm learning how Kubernetes works. Well, we have here JenkinsX to help us. JenkinsX is a project hosted by the CICD Foundation, like Jenkins. Well, how does JenkinsX can help us? Well, JenkinsX automates the installation of and configuration and upgrade of Jenkins and other satellite tools implied in the CICD pipelines like Helm, Scaffold, Nexus, blah blah blah. It automates all the CICD pipeline. We will see all in the presentation, but Jenkins is able to create Docker images, create Helm charts, create pipelines. Even JenkinsX creates an entire cluster of Kubernetes for us, only executing a command line. So we'll see in the presentation. JenkinsX uses GitOps methodology to manage promotion between environments. By default, we have a preview environment. We'll see what is preview environment, and staging environment and production. We can configure a lot of environments, but by default, these are the environments that JenkinsX provides us. Also, JenkinsX provides a lot of feedback. This is the integration of JenkinsX with GitHub. For the moment, GitHub and Bitbucket Cloud. I think it's in the roadmap, the integration with GitLab and Bitbucket on premises. But it's impermanently with webhooks. It's impermanently communication with GitHub. All the things that JenkinsX do will be displayed in GitHub. Well, how do we set up JenkinsX? It's very easy. We have to do two things. To install the CLI. We have with two commands we can install in Linux and in Mac OS. There is also a version for Windows. We will obtain an executable called JX. And in this way, we can create, we can do two things. Or create a new cluster from scratch, only doing this command. JX create cluster in EKS, in case of Amazon AWS, GKI for Google Cloud, and AKS for Azure. There are also another public clouds. And if we already have a Kubernetes cluster and we want only install JenkinsX, we only run JX install, and the magic occurs, and JenkinsX will install. And this is the boring part of the presentation. And I will introduce my colleague David. I will do a real deployment with an application that we download from internet. We will do a real deployment, and you will see how JenkinsX does magic and do a lot of work in our behalf. Okay?
Okay, let's go with the demo. The purpose, as Mark said, is to get a code base that is already is already done, because you have two options when you go to JenkinsX: is start from scratch with a new application. So JenkinsX provides you the tools and the how-tos and the guide to start from scratch a new application. But in case you have a code base that it's already developed and you want to start to manage it with JenkinsX, it provides you the tool to import that project into JenkinsX, and that's the goal of this demo. The whole demo would last more than the time we have, so we have already done some steps just to shorten this demo. Basically 3 steps. We have already installed the JX CLI just to command line, as Mark said. We already created a cluster in Google Cloud Platform. It's just this command you see here. The first part is mandatory until GKE, and the other is some flags or some parameters that you send to JX. If you don't provide these parameters, JX will ask interactively, okay? But to be unmanaged, unattended, you can set them in the CLI. And the last one we have already done is just get the IP from the load balancer that is in front of our cluster and set it in our DNS just to be able to access with a public DNS entry. Okay? So let's start. We will get a public repo. Okay? Just get, for example, I don't know, maybe GitHub, Docker app. I suppose that most of you know about Python. Maybe most of you have already done some code in Python. So we'll take a look at this one, for example. Okay? It looks like a Python app with its Docker file and whatever. Okay? So let's fork it. And okay, we have this in our structure. So first thing we have to do, cloud, clone it. Repo and just JX import. Okay. And it will do some magic. This step, the importing one, will last more or less, depending on your application, 5–10 minutes. So meanwhile JenkinsX is doing some magic, I will show you what do we have now after the 3 steps we have seen before. Okay, we have a Kubernetes cluster with 3 nodes. You can set how many nodes you want. By default, it creates 3 nodes. It creates a load balancer, and because everything is done with GitOps, JenkinsX also created 2 repos to manage each environment. Okay, so we have a repo for the production environment and another one for the staging environment. So whatever we do in a staging environment will be a pull request or a commit in this repo. When we promote our application to production, it will be done in this repo. We will see it after that. Okay. Another thing, okay, by default JenkinsX installs all these tools for us. A Jenkins master, chart museum for Helm charts, etc. We can see we have our Jenkins master here. If you go to JenkinsX web page, they say that this way is deprecated. They tell you that you should go to a new approach, which is completely serverless. You should use Tekton, you should use Flujo, whatever. From our point of view, it's already an immature approach, and we recommend, at least for the moment, to stay with this Jenkins master, with what will provide us with something we are familiar with. Because I suppose that most of you have already used a Jenkins sometime, so you will see it. In the meantime, let's see. Okay. This command allows us to see what's JenkinsX doing in the background. Okay. So it just got our new app and run the pipeline for us. The pipeline is what JenkinsX thinks is the best approach. So what did, in fact, did JenkinsX when we made the JX import? As you can see, it tried to detect what kind of application are we trying to import. It tried to, it's a shell, no, it's a CSS, no, HTML, and finally, it found that it's a Python application. So it created, or it pushed some changes to our repo to reflect that it's a Python application. We can see this. If we come here, this is how it was before the import, and if we reload, we can see the changes that JX import did in our repo. Basically, it created a Jenkins file which has the steps that JenkinsX thinks are the best practices to manage a Python application. It created a chart, which is the way we will deploy our application in Kubernetes. It created a scaffold default file. Another things that we don't mind, just can ignore or can. But basically, we will focus on charts, Jenkins file, and the scaffold YAML. Okay. Let's see. It's almost finished. So it's already built, and it's now promoting to station. We can come here. And these are the steps that we will try to accomplish. Okay, we started importing our repo to Jenkins. What JenkinsX is running now is just promoting our newly imported application to the staging environment. After that, if it works, we will make some changes. For example, some business new feature or whatever. Create a pull request, and Jenkins Manage will create an ephemeral preview environment just to check if what we did is what we need. In case if it's true, we will merge it to master, and automatically it will be deployed to staging. And in case that everything works okay, we will promote our new application to production. Okay? So let's see. It's almost finished.
JenkinsX creates an environment for every pull request we do. In that way, we can test. We'll see in a few moments. We can see the results of our pull request with a temporary URL to check if this pull request is working or not. Okay.
This is what JenkinsX installs on our Kubernetes. Okay. In the kube system namespace, we can see Fluentd for logs. We can see Prometheus for metrics. We can see the DNS. standard thing we can install most of our cluster, Kubernetes clusters. It creates a JX namespace just for JenkinsX itself. So here we have the Jenkins master, we have the chart museum for Helm charts, we have monocular, we have Nexus for artifacts, etc. We can also see these pods, Maven or Python. These are the slave agents that the JenkinsX starts to execute our pipelines. Okay, and we have a namespace for each environment. At the moment, just staging because we have nothing in production yet. Okay, so we can see here in staging we have our application which is being deployed. If we go to activity, we can see that it's already imported. So JX in the applications, and we can see that we have our brand new Apache Flask application with the 0.0.1 version deployed in the staging. So let's see, and okay, as expected, everything can work at the first time. So, bad gateway, what does it mean? Usually this means that our ingress rule can connect to our backend server. So let's see what did JenkinsX deploy. Okay, this one, it's running, so at least we have something that we can connect, but for some reason it's not connected. We can just write this pod. Okay. Okay, and this is what it deployed. What we can see here, why can it connect? Maybe because of the port it's exposing. The port is exposing the 8080 port, and we know that our application is an Apache application, but that usually exposes the 80 port, the HTTP port. So let's try. Values. Okay, and let's see that if this is the one. So GitOps, everything is in Git. So let's okay, and now we just can go to here. Sorry, just one last thing. Create a branch, but we need to create a pull request. Just to master from our new branch. Okay. I don't know, but if you know, Hub is just a CLI for GitHub, so we can manage pull requests, etc. from the command line. Okay, and now here is our request. Okay, and in a few seconds we will see here that JenkinsX will start to build activity. Oh, here we see it already. How does JenkinsX knows that it has to do those things? Because I didn't mention it before, but when you create your JenkinsX cluster, you also provide your user and wrap it open to your GitHub organization. So not only JenkinsX creates your cluster, but it also creates webhooks from your repos to your JX installation. Okay. So when we make some pull request on our GitHub, it sells a webhook to JenkinsX, so it starts to make its magic. Okay, so this is the pull request, it's building, it's creating our preview environment, which will be in this URL. Okay, we have our brand new Python application working in this ephemeral preview environment. So now let's imagine that not only we manage infrastructure via GitOps, but also we can create some business features the same way. So for example, let's say okay, and as usual, okay, and we can see here that JenkinsX created some annotations in our pull request. For example, telling us that it's already built, that our preview environment is ready, and with a link that we see before. And after a few seconds, we will see that it will build our new commit with our new change. So let's wait just a few seconds. No, it's the same. Okay, we can see here that it's starting to build. Any questions until here?
Yes.
Yes.
It looks really awesome, this integration between JenkinsX and Kubernetes. But I don't get one thing. Why we created two Git repos, one for staging and one for production? Could you please explain this?
We didn't create it. Creates JenkinsX does this. It's because we manage each environment independently.
Okay.
So we need it creates separate repos just for each environment. So when we create some changes in our staging, it creates a repo. When we create some changes in our production, it's some repo. Because, for example, for demo purposes, we created just one Kubernetes cluster. But in real environments, you will have your own cluster for production, your own cluster for dev, pre-beta environments, and maybe your JenkinsX is also in somewhere else. It doesn't need to be in the same cluster. So you have configurations, you have everything in each environment has its how to access to the cluster environment. It's the same, but it could be another one. Which versions and which applications are running at that moment. And you can roll them, you can do whatever.
Okay. Okay. Maybe another question. You can also set up per pull request ephemeral environments, right?
It's done automatically. You don't need to do it.
Yeah.
JenkinsX does it for you.
That's great. But how does it scratch them after pull request gets loaded and then deleted? So what's the mechanism to delete the
We will see it later.
Okay.
There is a command line, just JX garbage collector, and you can tell it to collect preview environments that their corresponding pull request is already closed, and it will get it open automatically. So you can run this command at the end of your pipeline, or one each day, just to get rid of all the views, as you wish.
That's great. Thank you.
Just
Yeah.
1 second.
My question number.
Just to see that our preview reflects the last change. Okay.
Yeah, because mostly, can you reduce the two repositories that JenkinsX creates to manage the environment files?
Can you?
Can you reuse for many projects? So this application is now managed through these two external repositories. Can you make JenkinsX to use this same for more applications?
Maybe I didn't explain well. There is a Git repo for each environment, not each application.
Okay.
So if you have 10 applications environment, you have only one.
It's a repo where JenkinsX internally manages the environment, the promotion, the versions, all these kind of things that internal to JenkinsX is.
Then it's supposing that all the applications have the same.
Yes.
The
Yes, and their own repository.
So I have a related question with both. So is it possible to configure a branch rather than another repo for the stage? So more in the gitflow way, like having views per branch.
Yeah. I mean, if I make a push to development branch, just deploy.
So
Yeah.
it's like integrating this JenkinsX with a more gitflow way of doing it.
You can.
Okay, that's awesome.
You can. By default, it follows just master branch, pull request, and so on.
That's fine, but for some people, probably it's better than creating a lot of repos for.
Okay. Just 1 second.
Huh?
Because next step will last 5 minutes, so I will. So the preview environment, we have seen that our changes are already done. We have the okay from our business product owner. So just merge pull request. So it will. You can see it has detected that we have made a push to our master branch, so we will recreate the staging environment with last changes. One question there.
Yes, if I have a complex bootstrap process for the application, how do I and when do I handle that?
What kind of bootstrap? For example, you have migrations,
Migration is one of the things, but not only that. To really deploy the application, I need to run something like Composer or something like that.
Okay. At the end, JenkinsX, the only thing it does is to run your Jenkins file. So you can just...
I can put it there, right?
Yeah. We will not modify the Jenkins file because it's enough for our demo. But you can add here some bootstrap, some unit test, some functional test, whatever you need to do with your application, with your deployment process, you can add it in your Jenkins file. Or if you use the new approach in your Tecton pipeline.
Created by default by JenkinsX is the JenkinsX proposal of a pipeline to
it's just the minimum
so we can
to
keep
deploy.
adding more and more things to our
Yes,
pipeline.
exactly. Exactly. One is a skeleton with the basic steps to the pipeline.
When it's in a skeleton, that works.
Yeah.
So if you need to start and you need to deploy and you need to make a demo, it's enough. If you need more complicated steps, you can add it in your Jenkins file.
But that's before the deploy, right? So it's not the part of the testing pipeline. It's just for deployment, basically.
You get different stages here. You have the CI, you have the build release, you have the deploy. At the end, you will deploy Helm chart. Maybe you need to add some kind of job, some kind of whatever in your chart.
Okay. Right.
It's hard to do a migration between Jenkins and JenkinsX.
If you are used to Jenkins files and declarative pipelines and so on, it's not hard. Because as you can see, it's just a Jenkins file.
So we can say the Jenkins files are compatible between Jenkins and Jenkins.
Yeah, because JenkinsX, at least the way we install it, it has already installed a Jenkins master, which runs the Jenkins file the same way as usual.
So, and in the repository I think that there is the YAM or child files for the Kubernetes objects in the zip repository.
I can hear you.
The child or the YAM files for the resources that are created for JenkinsX in Kubernetes are saved in the zip repository.
Yeah, it's in the chart directory.
But it's not for the application, I mean the JenkinsX itself.
Ah, okay. JenkinsX itself can be managed the same way as we manage our application. So we can make a pull request to our JenkinsX installation, and it will upgrade itself. Okay, you can make GitOps on your GitOps tool. Okay, you can manage the same way.
Another thing, I understand that this is Jenkins, but it's possible to make it work with other CI or execute other CI without having Jenkins. For example, if you're hosting in GitLab, use a GitLab CI, or is embedded, all the logic for Jenkins is embedded in Jenkins with X, or this can be switched, changed.
JenkinsX is quite configurable and quite open, and you can mix several tools. I don't know if your approach is.
Let me ask you for a pause. Maybe we can promote our staging environment to prod, and we follow with the
we have our staging environment with our application, and the last
only we have 5 minutes to finish.
Yeah, and the last step is just to promote our app. Version 2 and to which environment production. Okay. And it will promote. As we will see, if you come here to staging, we look at the commits we have done in our staging repo. As you can see, we have promoted the first import, created the 001 version, which didn't work. We have fixed and created the 002 application, and now we are promoting this application to production, which means that not yet, because it's already
Let me say something.
promoted.
Let me say something. One of the purposes of JenkinsX is to allow to deploy a Kubernetes application without any knowledge about Docker and Kubernetes. Only executing JX create cluster blah blah blah, you create a cluster of Kubernetes. And well, the JenkinsX creators do this because you can start to deploying applications in Kubernetes environment with Docker with Kubernetes, and after that we can start to learn about Docker and Kubernetes. But you can start to work with this environment without any knowledge. It's also, we can use also JenkinsX to do a proof of concept because it's quick installation. We have a Kubernetes cluster, what is running is one of the purposes of JenkinsX. And after that, we can complex JenkinsX as you wish. You can modify everything. You can construct your CICD pipeline as complex as you wish.
So finally, we have a commit in production which tells that, okay, now our Apache Flask version 002 is already in production, okay, and it's being built, and when it's finished, just a couple of minutes, we will see it here. Any other question? Any other doubt about what we did?
Was deploy taking care of rollbacks?
Just to rollback, you just need to promote the version you want to the environment point.
So it's supporting regular rollout of environments.
Yeah. And the version is follows the semantic version. So you make, if you need to create a new minor version, you have three options. You can tag your commit with a new version. You can make file in your repo with the version you want, or there is another option, that POM XML with the right version.
It supports AP deployment for zero double time deployment and fast roller, really fast roller.
Indeed, this is provided by Kubernetes itself, not JenkinsX. JenkinsX provides the tools to deploy. If you need this, you will need to maybe change your Helm chart or maybe modify the configuration in your cluster. But not this, it's not a JX feature. Okay.
The promotion is finished.
So if we get applications, now we see that our Apache Flask is already deployed in production. So if we go to our production URL, we will see that it's working. So in this demo we created, not now, but in the demo process, a new Kubernetes cluster, JX installation. We got an already working project. We imported it in the JX. We deployed with a public URL, with a staging environment, with production environment, and review environments. Last question about the ephemeral one. The pods, we can see it's already running in staging, in production, and this is the preview environment we created. But now the pull request is closed, so we don't need it anymore. Just, I don't know if
you can delete the run,
okay.
You can do whatever, but you have to delete manually. It's not automatic.
This is the command that garbage collects our previous environment. So we just run it. It checks that the pull request related to this is already closed.
You can put that
in a cron.
In a Jenkins job and have your developers ready.
Or at the end of your pipeline, as you wish. Yeah. And now after that, it's terminating. Okay. Finish. Fine. Anything else?
There's an important slide you have to show.
Okay. Yeah. We are hiding. Okay.
Would you like to do the things that we do? And you can read this. Important.
Just join us. Okay.
Is the Jenkins file that is has been created by default by GitOps? I am taking care of the change logs. During the pull request, we want to have like automated change logs. I know there are flags, but I was wondering if it's only going to do it automatically or change log. Is taking care of the change log.
Plugins in the Jenkins master.
Yeah, in Jenkins each. So is managing the whole process about creating a pull request. It is also taking care of the change log.
You need to.
We need to add it to the Jenkins file.
That's all.
If you have any question, we are around here and we can talk whenever you want.
Could you show this slide? I want to take a picture and show to my team.
Which one?
The slide with the pipeline. There we go. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we run out of time, so we need to leave the room.
Thank you.